time to get back to work. Even though it's the end of the year, it does not matter. Let's get back to work. Let's finish this year strong. And I mean, that's what we did. We did a whole location scouting trip in the southern region for Louisiana, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, the Metairie area, like a whole bunch of different places. And let's be honest about it, that was the first time we had a long extended time with our chief marketing officer Delana as well. And
Yeah.
I mean, the bond that we were able to build with her over this trip, the way that she handled herself with meetings with studio executives, with actors who have their own production company and do their own thing. Like it was an amazing time and memories that are so good that I even like I printed out the picture.
Yeah.
Like it's so damn good. Like,
Yeah.
it was an amazing time to be able to, you know, get back to doing what we do best, right? And I mean, we've been there before. It was years ago under different management, but Celtic Studios, man, they really rolled out the red carpet for us. And I mean, so accommodating, and everybody was so nice, trying to just, you know, figure out what we wanted, what we needed. And I'm super excited about Louisiana for 2024. Let's be honest about it.
Oh, without doubt, that trip was critically important. It's basically a setup for 2024, right? We said let's finish strong, but basically that location scouting trip was a springboard into 2024 of what we're going to be doing in 2024, and that trip could not have worked out more perfectly with locations, with potential new home for the corporate office, with just so many different things. And like you said, I got to tell you that I was extremely proud on this trip because you talked about it a little bit earlier about how where you're at and you were able to guide and teach the new people that we were bringing in when you were talking about the interns. And you know, and then you talked about briefly on the podcast where when we first started, you couldn't carry a conversation. You didn't know how to say things to people or talk to people or have these like, you know, how do I get out of this or get into this or talk about this or not talk about that, kind of a thing. And when we first went to Celtic Studios several years back, I didn't leave the room. I don't want to say I didn't trust. I wasn't ready to put people out there knowing that they were or were not capable of handling the room, if you will. And your growth over this time this was a totally different world. You were handling one conversation. I was handling another conversation. We were in separate rooms. We were discussing different things. At no point ever in any situation did I feel I had to be there. You were capable of doing whatever you needed to do and handling any conversation and answering any question and implementing it in a way. And when you didn't know, you were able to. See, this was the big thing. Early on, you didn't have an answer. Now, when you don't have an answer, you still say something. And it's not, and that is a skill and an art that is necessary in this industry because you don't get second chances. And where you were and where you are is one of those where I can just sit back and go, wow. Because as you guys know, I'm old. You know, and I plan on doing a Clint Eastwood thing, right? I plan on being fucking 90 and looking like garbage, like Walking Dead type shit, and still on a film set somewhere. God willing, that's my plan. But my plan is also at some point to step away and hand this thing over. And I have no worries, concerns, or doubts that when that day happens, it's going to be fine. It is going to be where it needs to be and will continue to grow and continue to thrive and continue to do everything. And that legacy will never be in doubt. Because that will be my legacy, and somebody's going to be in charge of my legacy moving forward, basically. And so this trip cemented that for me. And not only did it cement it for you, it cemented it for me for what you've been able to accomplish. Because as you said, Delana walked in. This was her first foray into it. And she handled herself with the actors. She handled herself with the studio execs. So much so that they were reaching back out to her to ask advice on other things. They felt so comfortable with her. That is kudos to you. Because one of the things that I have learned this year, and where I think I've seen the most growth this year, forced into basically, is stepping back, taking time to relax, to breathe, to not be so, and trusting that somebody else is capable of doing the job. And this year, that is the testament of where we're at. Never have I doubted the decision to bring you in, to hand over the title, and to say you are the guy running stuff. Never have I doubted that decision, ever. But this year cemented the decision in my mind that not only was I right, but it excelled. It's beyond what my expectations were. And that's been a great thing, because now, moving into 2024, it's all about continued growth, continued expansion, the next level. And I feel confident that the right people are in the right spots to accomplish that growth, to accomplish that expansion. And because I'm not gonna lie, I am putting together a massively comprehensive business plan for 2024. It is bold, it is aggressive, it's taking a lot of chance. We are going to be taking risk. We are going to be doing this agenda for 2024, and never have I felt more confident that we will finish 2024 with everything that we set out to do being done. God willing that the industry doesn't fuck us again. But I feel very confident, and I am thankful for this year to see that, and to see where you were, and to hear you talk about earlier about how you weren't motivated, how you were questioning about, how can I get through this? Am I going to be able to get, and yet still accomplish what you accomplished, and to do it in the manner that you did it, and never drop the ball on motivating the other people under you to do what they did, and to carry the ball when someone else was not capable of carrying the ball. So to be able to do that in the manner that you did it, while questioning your own motivation and your own desire through the tough times, is even more of an accomplishment and testament to your skill level and where you're at as a leader in this industry and in this company. So, I look at this, like I said, this year as a very positive thing for it's an amazing. I enjoyed every second of watching your growth this year, on top of what I've seen for the first 5 years. This year especially, your growth was just something to watch. It was something to sit back and go, wow, it's amazing. It was an amazing thing to be able to watch and see, and it's incredible.
Well, as the one late Kobe Bryant said, the job's not finished.
Exactly.
So we just got to keep going.
Exactly.
Staying motivated. However, of course, we get into our slumps, but to be able to pull yourself out, to be able to feel your feelings and to go through what you're going through and then pull yourself out, I feel like is the tape at the finish line, the banner that you can run through. So it's always one of those things. But there's so many great things productively wise that we were able to accomplish, because like you said, when COVID happened, we started writing. When this happened, we started writing. So to be able to go back, and we did about 2.5 episodes worth of revisions for the Ravens vision.
Yeah.
That was absolutely amazing, because I thought the first drafts of everything was great. But now I'm like, shit, this is going to be fucking
I
awesome.
mean,
I'm so excited for everybody to see and hear and watch that show when it comes out because it is something special. Like even when we're writing it, I'm like, man, I would love to watch this. I'm ready for this to be on so I can watch it. Like that's how fun and passionate and motivated we are about this thing. And to be able to navigate our characters to figure out like character growth and character development where they are now to where we want them to be at least at the end of season 1 is amazing because we got to figure out what's happening in the entertainment industry, how we want to implement that into our show, but then also figuring out what is a pinpoint in time that is a topic of conversation right now in the industry, but when we're writing, we don't want to put that into the project because that's going to be old news by the
right,
time our show hits the air, right?
right.
So that's been an interesting development and collaboration to try to figure out what's big enough to where we can implement it and what's small enough to where it's big right now, but it's not going to be big in a month or two. So that's always been very interesting. But man, the progress that we have made for the Ravens vision this year is honestly fucking awesome. Like I
It's
just there's
it's
not
incredible.
enough. Yeah,
And
I wish we could say more about it, but like I just know from our excitement, our enthusiasm that it's going to be something special.
well, and with the writing, like literally what you just brought up, it goes back to what I said about our ability to predict the industry. We
Yeah.
we have a sense of what we know is going to happen down the line. That makes it much easier to write about things that might be fictional at the moment but will be reality by the time you see the show because we know it's coming. And you might watch the show and go, holy shit, how it's exactly what's happening today, but we wrote that shit a year ago because we knew it was coming. So I love that aspect of it. And prior to the shutdowns, I think one of the greatest things that we saw with this project that fired me up, because as you guys know, the previous projects were somebody else's work. This is our
Mm-hmm.
first thing that we have written. And one of the greatest things for me this year, prior to the shutdown, but it's still this year, when we were doing auditions and trying to find people to, when you see somebody ridiculously talented bring something that you wrote to life, it's no longer a two-dimensional thing on a page. This is a living, breathing thing that came from your head and now is reality. That for me was like the greatest thing ever. I'm like, fuck, that is such and such. Just like I pictured it, just like I wanted it to be. There it is. And to have that type of an accomplishment, to say, holy shit. And then, like you said, to be able to revise it, change it, adapt it, because maybe they delivered something in the performance, the audition, that you were like, fuck, that's not even how I thought. But now, but to know that something that comes from you is that good and that people are that committed and that they can put that much into it to try to bring it to life for you. Wow. Just wow. I mean, I don't know, man. The first time I saw any character that we had written right there in front of us in real life, I was like, fuck, this is
Yeah,
amazing.
it's really weird because like we've teased it a little bit, but like it's loosely based on our lives as well. So to be able to see things that are based off of people that we know or inspirations of people that we know, it's freaking weird, man. Like it's honestly a crazy thing. But I mean, it's not only that, but like we've been talking about this whole episode, mental health has been a big thing for us and leading into the short film that we're going to accomplish in this upcoming year as well, the lesson plan. I mean, not as drastic, not as like intense as deadlines. Don't be crazy.
It's a comedy.
But it's a comedy. But I mean, I think that is something that I think we're going to take sprinkles of for each one of our projects. We're gonna have a subject at least in and one aspect or another in each of our projects about mental health. I think that's going to be our
For
biggest
sure.
thing, because it's so special for us. And then, I mean, we're also in the works for trying to find an animator and working on our own personal voice to try to figure out what our voices are going to be for our animated project, which has been the most difficult thing because I've watched so many YouTube videos on how to manipulate your voice, and I still don't know how I want this motherfucker to sound.
Yeah,
So,
that's the thing, right? Like,
so that's gonna be interesting. And then, like you said before, I'm writing our own individual projects to bring to the company and see these things come to fruition, which is so fun. Because this is another stepping out of our comfort zone. Because when we first started writing, we're doing this together, but then now we're working on trying to figure out our own projects on our own and then still getting ideas from each other. So that's very interesting. But all in all, man, all of these projects that we're working on are special. They are entertaining. They do deal with subject matters that you can relate to. And I think, 2024 is going to be a great one
yeah.
for all of these things. And I think we're going to be able to accomplish a lot with each one of them. So I'm really pumped about it.
And learn.
Yeah.
Because as you guys know, we're a directing duo. We direct together. So, and the things that we've done in the past, we've done together. But like Logan said, we're now writing things separately. So to write something separately and then have to adapt to direct together is going to be a learning curve. It's going to be like, and so it's continual growth. How do you take something separate and pull it together? And so I'm excited. I'm excited for those opportunities to go, okay, we know we work really well together. Now how do we work really well together on something we've done separate? And that is going to be an amazing thing to move forward with in 2024. And yeah, it's just going to be incredible. I am, and pushing boundaries. Like you said, each of our films is going to have a little something, something in there, but they're also going to push boundaries. We're not going to shy away from things that people say you shouldn't do. And we're going to be like, why shouldn't we do that? Why shouldn't we make a Christmas movie that highlights this? Or why shouldn't we do a comedy that does this? We're all about reality. What does the real world look like? And that's the projects we want to make. Real world shit, like Logan said, that you can relate to. So while it's entertainment, while it's going to be fun, while it's going to be scary, while it's going to be, dramatic, while whatever the genre may be, it's also going to be reality. It's going to be real world that you can go, I can identify with that. Not only am I entertained, but I can connect. And that is what I'm looking forward to most in 2024. Finally putting our projects out there that we know people can connect with, because that's vital for us to be able to do that and have the courage to do it. Because I feel like a lot of people just cater now. We're just going to make it the movie they want us to make because we don't want to offend anybody. Like, fuck that. Art is art, man. Like, if you're not offending somebody, what the fuck? I mean.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, that's why I really liked what Bob Iger said a couple of weeks ago, where he, take him or leave him. I know there's a lot of vast opinions about him right now, but he said we need to make projects that aren't politically motivated. He wants to take that aspect out of projects, which I think is good, because you need to make projects for everyone, specifically when you're a family-friendly thing like that. But to be able to identify what's working, what's not working, and to adapt to it. And I think that's what this whole theme of the show has been, just adapting to everything that's been going on and figuring it all out. So I think it's been an amazing experience in 2023. But